So when I first started this project, I was inspired by, well, two people mainly. One of them being a guy by the name of Poncho. He has 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he is really known for being like accidentally inspirational. He's encourages going to the gym for men to get to the best version of themselves. And one of the things that he mentioned was going to the gym and just getting in the best shape of your life was not enough. You also had to connect with God in some way. And I've heard this from many other influencers or content creators, whatever you would like to call them. And I've heard a lot from the Muslim community where they highly encourage joining the religion. And I always found that fascinating that for some reason successful people they're always religious in some way. They great shape and they make good money, and, they can take care of their family. So I always found that very fascinating. And the other content creator that inspired me to do this project was a creator by the name of Gideon, who changed his life around. He went from being a public nuisance and really just being ignorant and being someone that no one in public really liked. He was loved on the internet for sure for being a funny guy, but he changed his life around, and now he's put his whole heart and he's putting his all into God. And I find that he is able to leave all the fame, all the money, leave it all behind to promote God's message. I find that very fascinating and honorable. So one thing that is a weird parallel and honestly something you can see coming is successful people believe in God, or they have their own belief system. So there's this famous quote from a famous musician by the name of Tupac, and he basically just said that you have to have faith. You can't find faith in the world or in yourself, and find faith in God.
Believe in yourself and don't let nobody stop you from doing what you got to do. You got to have faith. If you can't find faith in the world, find faith in God, find faith in yourself, but you got to have faith.
Even politicians, like famous professional debaters, if that's a word, have their own arguments for it as well. So like a man like Ben Shapiro, who believes in free will, so in that case he believes that God exists, because if you believe in free will, then God has to exist. Play the clips for you right now.
So my favorite argument for God's existence is that I believe in free will. Okay, the reason that I think this is an argument for God's existence is because if you believe that human beings are essentially just balls of meat wandering around aimlessly in the universe, the kind of Spinoza's stone that thinks that it was moving of its own accord but actually was thrown, if you believe that and you don't believe in free will, then there's an internal coherence and logic to it. If you believe that you have the ability to make independent choices, that you can actually supersede your own biological drives and the environment around you to any extent, even to the smallest extent, this means that you believe in something that can't actually be proved by science, but that you are living every single day. And the notion that you have that will, and not only that you have that will, but that will is capable of comprehending the universe around you, that your will is your ideas, your ability to comprehend the universe is a reflection of a reality, of an objective truth that is out there, that says to me that there is a God, there's a common source that stands behind that objective truth and stands behind the mind that can comprehend that truth.
Now, with politicians like Ben Shapiro, whose argument for God existing is that, well, if you believe in free will, then God has to exist, right? Pretty obvious how that relates to people trying to get into religion, like the stakeholder, because, I mean, it's impossible to avoid this topic. It's everywhere. It's influencers, politicians, a lot of, it's a topic that's always talked about, no matter what. Now, the final piece of the argument that I have is that believing in God, or just the idea at least, even if even if I'm wrong, even if God's not real, the idea is still a really good thing, because the idea essentially turns you into a great person. If you believe the things that you believe in, then it will enable that person into doing good, into not sinning in the eyes of the Bible or any religion. So, like, just listen to this interview from a man by the name of Andrew Tate, who is also a very controversial figure, but I'm not here to speak about that.
Understand the level of evil in the world today, then you must understand the only evil and opposite force can be God. Another thing I've argued with atheists about, they don't understand that even God as a concept, even just as a concept, in and of himself becomes a real thing. If you have 1,000 people and those 1,000 people believe in God, even if there's no man in the sky, but those 1,000 people believing in God makes them act righteously. Even as a concept in and of itself, God is a real force. God, the idea as a force, is making the people act righteously. So God must exist in some form. I understood that the thing that made me stop being an atheist is simply the amount of evil I saw around. It's like, if this much evil, if Satan is going to appear, if Satan appears in front of you, you're going to have to say, okay, well then God must be real. Who would attempt to destroy the baseline morality that was God-given? Satan. So if Satan is trying to destroy our morality, then God must be real. So equal and opposite forces, Newton's law proved God.
Now, the argument that if you believe in God, it turns people into good people, all these people believe in God the way you go to heaven is by doing the opposite of evil, not sinning. So when someone's doing the opposite of sinning and putting good in the world, that is objectively a good thing. So whenever you believe in God, you are objectively turning your back away from evil. So I think that is very honorable, very righteous, like the word Andrew Tate used to describe it. Hello, a little bit different YouTube video here, but this is just the school project, and I'm only doing this because I have to prove that this YouTube channel is owned by me, the student. So in order to prove it, I have, my backpack. You see me every day, right? I guess I'll pull out my Chromebook. There you go. You've seen me use this before, right, Miss? Right, Miss? Or my Letterman. Yeah, see? Has my name on. Has my name right there. You see that? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the only reason this exists. At the end of the video, it's me. I promise. I own this YouTube channel. It's me.